Very good morning. Um, to continue and to hopefully give some sort of um, acceptable answer regarding enlightenment, a personal enlightenment. In the first part, I explained that there's not really a need. Well, I mean, if you look into what was behind these words, there's not really a need for anything to be enlightened. But there is a need for something to remind you, to remind something that it is always a free, liberated, enlightened, pure, tranquil, unlimited, immortal, loving being. Because everything else that does not point at these words is simply a mask. Now this mask is ingrained. I spoke about the little fish leaving the net. Some fishes are in the center. They can't even see the net, you see. They can't even get through the fellow bound fish. They can't squirm past them to get close to the net. That's how difficult it is. Or that's how it appears to be difficult, you see. So anyway, what is experienced? Is there an experience once this apparent enlightenment leaves that net? Because the ocean where the little fish travels to appears to also be bound, you see. It's surrounded by mountains. So the fish can't get out of the ocean. The birds cannot get out of the sky. The humans cannot get out of the body. So it's an ongoing experience for a being. Even though it's tranquility, it's presence, it's beingness, it's here-ness, its isness, appears to be masked. And just this morning, so many notifications about World War III starting. World War I has not ended for some. Yeah, World War II has not ended for some. Because the mind has been reminded of how intolerable it was to be part of something that was unnecessary. The intelligent mind wants to address past wars, wants to address how to become peaceful, wants to pacify and bring everything together in a great way. The wise mind just lets everything be. The World War II, if it existed in a time-based, separate from World War I and the Battle of Hastings and the Battle of Falkirk and the Spanish Civil War, all continuations of the same thing. Is there a beginning and an end? No, because the mind always wants to fight and defend itself. The ego always wants to fight and defend itself. Interesting thing is, I watched a little video from, I can't remember his name, Odie something, but he was speaking about the shock, you know, what I spoke about, the brain, the chemicals, and he goes further into neuro neurochemicals and neuroscience, and he picks up in a very, very good point of what happens once enlightenment is seen as just another reminder of what you truly are. There's no fear, you see. To come on to YouTube and say World War III is about, or is already in process or progress, is to install fear. It's not to install a way of defending, it's to install fear. We're all going to die. They're all building bunkers. All the warlords have already planned this. They're all aiming to kill off most of the population. These are concepts and ideas, and they will lead you to an intolerable mental fear, a psychological fear. And if it happens, it happens. If that's what is taking place, no one can stop it. So from the point of the enlightened mind, that's a very, very, very positive way to look at life. But to the ego, it's like, no, you have to stand up and fight for your family, for your country. Let's all stand up and shake hands and hug. It's not possible, is it? It is the most easiest human thing to do. An animal does it. When one of its breed dies, it goes, it licks the wound, and it leaves. But it doesn't protect the other animal. It simply waits for the inevitable. It waits for death. That's what every single human being will experience, this body not operating anymore. But now I've diverted into that what the ego would say, a foolish statement to make. We have to be at war. You see, the ego says, we have to defend land. We have to imply ways to protect the planet. To hell with the people. You know, wars used to be about protecting the people. But actually it wasn't. It was about taking ownership of other lands, taking ownership of other monopolies and things that are required from that particular country. You see, let's look at the enlightened experiencer now. The enlightened experiencer experiences it the same thing as everyone else, but it pays no real fear or desire to change. You cannot change the inevitable, you see. When the wind comes, we are trying to change the wind now, you see. So we can change the weather. We can change, very soon we'll be changing planets. No one says why. No one says, are we not just happy being alive? No, because the ego wants to investigate, wants to explore, wants to discover, wants to destroy, wants to create. It wants all these things. But as an enlightened experiencer, that's okay. You know, what you have to do in your world is what you have to do in your world. It's the acceptance and the trust and the faith. The acceptance is, yeah, if World War III goes ahead by what you call minds that are vindictive and despise love and despise compassion and kindness and are very narcissical and powerful, that's their life. That's their life. It's not what you would call the way I would like myself to live. But I cannot change another human being. I cannot change another mind. I can only change myself. And no human being that is thinking about war or thinking about peace are out to change the world, really. They're out to change themselves. But they deny the fact that they have the answers. They deny the fact, they think the answers are out there in other human beings. Enlightenment says that you before did not fit in. Your ways did not fit in. You were held back, bound from the attainments that you felt your mind could achieve. After this enlightenment, not only do you not fit in, you shrink from a form into a mustard seed, into a grain of sand. You see, I'd rather be the grain of sand on a beach where every grain is at the mercy of the waves, is at the mercy of the sunlight, is at the mercy of time and movement from the waves coming back and forth, than a king standing, waiting to be pierced in the heart by an arrow or a nuclear bomb. But that's only the outlook from an enlightened point of view. Let the tide come in and bring me home, or bring me to another beach. Let me go back and forward, beach to beach, until that grain of sand simply disappears and becomes the ocean. You see? That's the attitude. That's not a fearful attitude. That's not to say the mind of that has been reborn in this one does not fear the future, if future exists, of humanity through ignorance, through their own fears. You see, fear just grows into more fear. To say something about another human being in a derogatory way, in a measuring way, in a judgmental way, in a competitive way, in an analytical way, is to judge, measure, analyze, and value yourself. So if it's a devaluation, you're devaluing yourself. That's why acceptance is very important. I accept who you are. I accept your opinion. I accept everything that you say. I listen, I accept. I don't make judgment, I walk away. And what you walk into is another opinion, another judgment. Or it may be into the ocean. Fear is what is driving humanity to what you would call an obliteration. But that's okay, because acceptance has to move into trust. But I trust that we won't. I have faith in nature. I have faith in consciousness. I have faith in every being that is in the net trying to escape. I have faith, and I trust that that net will soon be cut and we'll move into the ocean of consciousness. It's not surrounded by mountains anymore, just freedom. Freedom to be what we truly are. Loving, pure, original, genuine, tranquil, transcendental, magical, meaningful, purposeful. Life, existence. It's not that you don't care, you see. Enlightenment doesn't bring you to that attitude of, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about what's going on in the world. I simply don't have a mind to make judgment and value and analyze it, because I have much more important things to do in my life, like breathing. Because without it, I can't even experience enlightenment. And through it, I can experience everything. I can experience being at war. Hopefully not today, but maybe tomorrow. Who knows? There is no experiencer. There is only an experience. And the experience takes its own shape. If you can imagine God as an incredibly large human flesh, organic, biological man that is bigger than the cosmos. And the cosmos and everything that is seen, perceived, tasted, witnessed, touched is God's body. Every now and then, like a flake of skin comes off your body, something comes off God's body. Whether it's a meteorite, a planet, a human, an animal, a tree, a star. He's continually recycling. And our body does the same. A bit of skin falls off. We still go on. The bit of skin itself drops hundreds and thousands of molecules and atoms off that bit of skin. And they move into something other than what I was. So I am everywhere, like space. God is everywhere, as space. But space appears to be what we imagine as filled with nothing. But space grows into form, and form has the ability to witness itself as form, but also that it cannot be here without space. There's no way you can go to find death or birth. Everything is as it is, happening as it is. Your mind will continue to punish and torture itself. It's never out to punish and torture that what it is representing, the true you. It's just that you love your mind so much, and you forgive your mind, and you hate your mind, and you worship your mind, and you use your mind. Because you think, mind thinks, not you think, mind thinks. If it loses its sight on you, it will die forever. But it's a cunning little devil, the mind. It just pretends that, because when it does, it is dismissed. It turns away and says, oh, and it sees another one. Oh, I'll go and bother that one for a few lifetimes. And I'll teach him or her what it's like to be alive, and what I can show them, and what I can give them, and what I can take away from them, and what I can create for them, and what I can destroy from them. But I'm only here to do my job, says mind. And that's what we all say. Even the ones that are building the spaceships that know that it's going to destroy so many natural birds and natural plants and, the environment and the ozone, and they say, but I'm only here to do my job. So am I here to do this job? Is this a job? Is this a chore? Or is this just taking place? If it's just taking place for you, you're going to let it go. You're going to let this one pass. You're not going to hang on and cling on and think that the answer is with this flesh and bone and mind. The answer is always within. You can go through Christ, Buddha, Ramana Maharshi, Yuji Krishnamurti. You can go through the biggest conspiracy theorists. You can go through the most loving Dalai Lama saint. But why not take a shortcut and go through yourself and see the real you? See the truth that enlightenment reminds you what you are. Enlightenment is not my enlightenment. Enlightenment is the gift of life in its purest state, where it sees everything as magnificent, holy, and cannot break away from the spirit of love, but sees fear, but it's never going to trouble this mind and this body. Death will trouble this mind and this body, but the fear of it will not. I hope I haven't diverged into personal superiority or personal knowledge. My motto is, if you're the most intelligent human in this world, trade the intelligence in for the wisdom that lies beyond as yourself. Namaste all. Thank you for being here, and thank you for watching, taking the time. And thank you, and I trust and have faith that one day all of this will make sense. Because right now, it appears to be nonsense. But what is superior? Sense or nonsense, or the observer? The middleman, the one that surrendered sense and nonsense, or the one that lives as if he is the sense and the nonsense. Everything is outside of you, projecting as if you are part of it. But when you dismiss the mind, you see it's the mind that goes outside of you. It's the body that goes outside of you. It's the world and the planets and the universe that goes outside of you. And what remains inside is up to you to reveal when you look in the mirror inside of you, inside of I will show you the way.